We supposed to organize one regional workshop in each region, in the three regions that we are working in: Latin America, in Asia, and in Africa. And this is the first regional workshop in Asia, and we invited several participants from DGM countries and also other non-FIP DGM countries. The purpose of the workshop is, according to the plan, to work with the indigenous leaders on climate change issues, to build the capacity in the region in order to understand the climate change negotiations, and also to build their capacity on how they can, once they understand the topic, they can influence at the international level, and perhaps at the national level connect their actions with the national plans.
The DGM, the Dedicated Grant Mechanism, is a project which is quite a new model for how to empower indigenous peoples at the country level to plan and manage their own projects.
Yeah, my expectation was to learn more about the DGM, including other funding mechanisms, especially for climate change, and to learn how indigenous peoples can make best use of these mechanisms existing. And then also to learn from the experiences of other countries, because we are quite young in terms of REDD+. We are still in the very starting point, so to learn from the experience of other indigenous peoples communities in negotiating with the government and in implementing.
I want to have a better understanding about the DGM and to have learned experiences from FIP countries in implementing the REDD+.
I would like to learn and discuss on the DGM and REDD+ for the local people, as we work with the community, and we would like to know what is and how we can access to the fund. Is my expectation. And I also want to learn and exchange the experience and learn from the other country, from the region, what they have done so far with the project, and learn from the best practice from them.
My expectation is to learn, about the DGM and its process, how it works, what are the things, they are linked with, and also mainly to learn the networking.
The World Bank has made efforts in the past 4 or 5 years to strengthen the engagement with indigenous peoples from around the world. And specifically from the year 2013 to 2015, we had a very strong dialogue with the indigenous peoples of the world. One reason is to receive the input from the indigenous peoples in regard to the policy, to the safeguards policy of the bank. But also it was to understand better how the bank can relate better, can communicate better with indigenous peoples, and also what kind of benefits can World Bank investments around the world.
And this time we, in Asia, we cover the climate change topics like, first of all, the Paris Agreement, how the UNFCCC is organized, some of the elements of the Paris Agreement like NDCs. We went over also some topics like REDD+.
Yes, actually I learned many new things, especially about this DGM and then other funding mechanisms for this. Actually, lots of information, and I will still take some more time to digest all this information I got from this workshop. Yes, and the workshop is beyond my expectation. Yeah, I got all the things I expect.
It make me learn a lot the experience from the organization from the country, and that share to each other about the activity, the successful activity that they implement in their country.
I have learned more of from each other country about their struggling, about their social movement, and about how they manage for the forest, and how the ADD Plus project it could be running on their country, especially for the Thailand. And I'm visiting the one of community who has implement or one of side project from the RADD Plus, and it will be good when I'm going back to my country, and I will be implement to our supporting to our constituent at the community, especially for indigenous peoples and also local community.
Nice connection we had is with the visit, the field trip. We went out to visit the community, and it is a pilot project where the community is participating, pilot projects for Red Plus, and we had a conversation with the people, and we walked in the forest, and we saw what they are doing in the community, and it was a good, connection to understand what is Red Plus, and to understand also what the people in this training they are understanding about Red Plus, and I realized that they had different views about Red Plus, and it was great. It was great to reflect on what the community is doing, and connect with what they were learning here.
I can see the potential challenges and impact of this kind of shift in the traditional occupation in indigenous people's livelihood. For example, people of this village used to grow varieties of crops from the rotational farming, which they cannot grow from the vegetable farming. They said they grow only 5 kinds of vegetable, but they used to grow a lot of varieties of food from the rotational farming that changes our food habit, that changes our traditional knowledge and the skills of harvesting and everything.
Personally, I'm an indigenous person from Ecuador, and I come from a community of indigenous peoples who have also been marginalized and are suffering the impact of poverty, migration, soil erosion, etc. We can access the benefits of modern society and at the same time maintain our pride, our identity, our love for our community, for where we come from, for our family, for our culture. We don't have to just abandon, our own history, our own traditions. We can be a citizen of our countries, we can be citizens of the world, and at the same time maintain what's perhaps more dear to us in terms of our culture and our identity.
Yeah, we encourage to continue coordinating with these organizations, and if they have some needs or gaps of understanding some topics on climate change, the DGM program is ready to support them with information, with materials. And by the way, we are creating a knowledge platform in a website so they can access and get information there. We will provide that information to the people. So yeah, we are open to support them, and we are very, very motivated because the people are interested in the topics and they are happy with what they have received here, and we will be doing more actions here in the region.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah.